I mean, if White Rhinoceros has been undefeated, hasn't even lost a single round in the Gladiator Super Cup, so they are a very, very good team. So as we just wait for everybody to spawn in and for everybody to ready up, this is the 1v1, guys. There will be 4 rounds. First to 3 takes the point in the series. So for White Rhinoceros, we have Head Shooter, and for SOWAR, we have Falcon. And they are flying the Yak 1B. For anybody who doesn't know the way they choose the planes, there is a list of 9 planes. They veto 8 of them, and then the last plane both teams need to fly for the remainder of the game. Yeah, I do like the Yak 1B. Although it doesn't have a lot of cannon rounds, it is a very powerful little plane. So do not underestimate the Yak. So again, White Rhinoceros going into this undefeated so far. They were very dominating, using those stealth rounds. Instantly getting critical damage onto Falcon. White Rhinoceros showing their dominance straight away with a very, very quick round. And again, showing off just how powerful the Yak is. I mean, everybody does love the Yak. It is a plane that anybody can quickly jump into and fly and enjoy. So there we go, guys. The first leg goes to White Rhinoceros. If they win, the next round will be SV versus White Rhinoceros. And we saw SV dominate Doradler. So it will be very interesting to see White Rhinoceros go up against. But it is only the first round. I'm just going on previous stats. So as we just wait for everybody to ready up. Again, guys, White Rhinoceros are up 1 leg to 0. They need to win another 2 rounds to take the first point in the series. So they are not 1-0 up, they are not 3-0 up. They are still equal. Let's quickly get the Yak up so we can have an exact idea of how many rounds it has. I think it has 120. 120. So I mean, why they can't just spray? I mean, it only has 120 rounds. They can't just spray and pray. I mean, it does have a reasonable amount of ammo. And as this is realistic, guys, aiming is a little bit easier here than in Simulator. I mean, they don't have the aim assist that they have in Arcade with the little lead indicator. But they do get the third-person sort of perspective, so being able to see where the enemy is a little bit clearer. They don't have to be stuck in a cockpit. They do get that advantage there. So it does allow games to be a little bit more fluid and faster, in as though it is a little bit easier than Simulator. So now we have Johnny K versus I'm going to predict that the 3 is an E, so I'm going to go with Cotty. So I'm going to predict that the 3 is an E, so I'm going to go with Cotty. So I'm going to predict that the 3 is an E, so I'm going to go with Cotty. So I'm going to predict that the 3 is an E, so I'm going to go with Cotty. So I'm going to predict that the 3 is an E, so I'm going to go with Cotty. So I'm going to predict that the 3 is an E, so I'm going to go with Cotty. So I'm going to predict that the 3 is an E, so I'm going to go with Cotty. So I'm going to predict that the 3 is an E, so I'm going to go with Cotty. So I'm going to predict that the 3 is an E, so I'm going to go with Cotty. So I'm going to predict that the 3 is an E, so I'm going to go with Cotty. So I'm going to predict that the 3 is an E, so I'm going to go with Cotty. So I'm going to predict that the 3 is an E, so I'm going to go with Cotty. So I'm going to predict that the 3 is an E, so I'm going to go with Cotty. So I'm going to predict that the 3 is an E, so I'm going to go with Cotty. So I'm going to predict that the 3 is an E, so I'm Again, guys, there is a 40-second timer where they can't engage each other. So they could fly 180 degrees backwards. Apparently there's not much advantage to doing that, but they could do it if they so please. I do have to say the Yak is probably one of the best planes to head on each other with, but I would not recommend it. Using those flaps to get as much lift and turning power out of the plane as possible. As I said, people shouldn't go head on with each other in the Yak. They do go head on with each other in the Yak, and SOWAR come out a little bit more destroyed than White Rhinoceros. Instantly being set on fire, instantly being crit on the right wing. And we can see just how powerful the Yak really is. Though that 20mm cannon absolutely wrecking the plane. Again, a very, very fast round. And we can see that SOWAR do have the Gladiator symbol. They have been in another Gladiator game before. And this is the semi-finals, guys. They have faced a lot of opponents. They have gone up against the best of the best. So while White Rhinoceros do look like in a rather dominant position, SOWAR could be 2v2 and 4v4 pros. 1v1s might not be their best thing, and I mean, we have seen a lot of, even NBSI in Simulator are, you know, great pilots. They lost their first 1v1. They were down 1-0. And then they went and won, by a very clear margin, the other 2 rounds. So SOWAR could quite easily come back. Even if SOWAR had an easy route to the semi-finals, they're still in the semi-finals. So, I'm not going to take any kind of... I'm not going to take it away from them. An easy route or a hard route, if you get to the semi-finals, you get to the semi-finals. I mean, if I got to the semi-finals because I got through an easy route, I'd be like, yes, I got to the semi-finals. I wouldn't care. So as we see, guys, we're just waiting on everybody to ready up. White Rhinoceros are currently 2-0 up on SOWAR in the 1v1. If White Rhinoceros can win a third one, they will take the first point in the series. And it looks like we're going to see Manic Sith Master versus Lone Eagle. I think they're just waiting on Kota to unready. There we go, guys. Now we are into the third 1v1. SOWAR do need to win the next two, whereas White Rhinoceros only need to win one. If White Rhinoceros can win, they obviously take the first point in the leg. Just waiting for everybody to spawn in. There we go. So we have Lone Eagle versus Manic Sith Master. So again, guys, they can't just engage each other. They need to wait 40 seconds before they can start engaging each other. There we go, the first pass. SOWAR really do need to win the next two rounds. Otherwise, they're just going to lose the first point to White Rhinoceros. But instantly, White Rhinoceros getting the first crit and shots off. Did he just crit his engine? That's what it sounds like, because it doesn't seem to be any fuselage damage or wing damage. Wow, that crit. Instantly taking out the engine. I mean, the Yak normally has a very good engine, being able to sustain a lot of damage. And without an engine, they're kind of just a sitting duck. White Rhinoceros just really showing their sheer dominance, just ending these rounds in 20 seconds at least. Just really showing how good they have been the other 3 rounds they've played. So it looks like we'll be moving into the 2v2 rather quickly, with White Rhinoceros taking the first point.
The enemy has captured a zone.
And some fancy aerobatic smoke. I mean, with these games being so quick, guys, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what else to say other than White Rhinoceros just being as dominating as ever. I mean, we saw them the other day go up against 303. A similar thing happened. The game was no longer than, excluding the 10 minutes at the beginning, where obviously everybody's building up, but the game time itself was about 30 minutes. And if they keep this just sheer dominance going, it wouldn't surprise me if the game was as short as that. Obviously, I don't want to see SOWAR lose. I don't want to see any team lose. But just to see such dominance is just crazy. So I think we will be going straight into the 2v2, yeah. I wasn't sure if they were going to play the fourth 1v1 out, but it doesn't look like it. They're just going to move straight on to the 2v2. In the 2v2 is worth 2 points. Lots of 2s. So SOWAR could bring it back in the 2v2. You need to win 2 2v2s to get the 2 points. I'm going to say 2 as many times as possible. So we've got Falcon and Kote versus Head Shooter and Johnny K. Again, guys, they can't engage for at least 40 seconds. They can do whatever they want. looks like straight at the beginning we're going to see sort of two separate 1v1s going on. With Kote versus Johnny and Falcon versus Head Shooter. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw, you know, if we saw Head Shooter come over and support Johnny. I believe that's what they did versus 303. We saw Johnny sort of get his opponent into a rather, you know, sticky situation. He had no speed, no momentum, and then one of his teammates just came over and just shot him straight out of the sky. But Johnny just going straight into a hammerhead. Doesn't quite get his nose in the right place to be able to shoot. And overshoots Kote. But using those landing flaps to try and get as much lift as possible, as well as to stay behind Johnny. Johnny just has so much momentum. Just can't get in the right position though. But it looks like Head Shooter was shot down by Falcon. A quick look. That means White Rhinoceros might actually lose this round. We see Falcon now coming in to try and assist his teammate. But I don't think they need it because I think he just rammed into, they just rammed into each other. A very honourable way to go. So that does mean that SOWAR take the first leg of the 2v2. So if they win the next one, they'll go 2-1 versus White Rhinoceros. If White Rhinoceros can win the next 2v2, then they will even it out, and there'll need to be a playoff 2v2. So as we just wait for the there we go. As the game to end. Why there are so many tickets, I don't know. While ramming is even in tournaments, I mean, it is a reasonable tactic. We saw it happen. We've seen it happen quite a few times, actually. I think it might have been even in the Duradler game yesterday. Essentially, somebody was out of ammo. I believe it was one of the Duradler guys, and it was 2v1. His teammate was too critted to help, and the opponent also was too critted to then take down the other two guys. So nobody could really kill each other because everybody was out of ammo or too damaged to do anything. So they just rammed into each other and Duradler won the round. So ramming is a tactic. And I mean, it has won games and rounds. So do expect to see it everywhere. And as long as you have somebody still in the air, you're going to win. So it doesn't matter how you bring the enemy down, as long as you are the last one in the air. So we're going to have Phantomus and Manic Sith Master versus Lone Eagle and... I'm going to call him Zenit. Again, they're not allowed to engage each other straight away. So again, we're going to probably see two separate 1v1s happen at the beginning. You see Phantomus versus Zenit. Phantom using those stealth rounds. Instantly setting him on fire. But he does need to be careful, because sometimes the Yak doesn't burn like most other planes. You can stop the plane from burning. But I think that even if he does, the plane is just so critted at this point that it is just going to go down. So let's watch Lone Eagle try and 2v1 now White Rhinoceros. White Rhinoceros need to win in order to cause a tiebreaker scenario. And they do so very successfully. So now we will see a third 2v2. Where whoever wins that will take the 2 points. Going into the final round. The only way the tiebreaker could possibly draw is if they all started ramming each other. But I don't think we'll see that. It's possible, but I don't think we'll see it. As we wait for the tickets to drain again.
We have captured a zone. Victory is ours. Let's go home.
At the moment, guys, we are just waiting on the teams to ready up. It is an additional 2v2. Whoever wins this will take the 2 points from the round. So if White Rhinoceros win, they will go 3-0 up. If SOWAR win, they will go 2-1 up. Now just wait on the teams to spawn. I believe. There we go. We got Falcon and Kote versus Phantom and Manic Sithmaster. So moving into the third 2v2, I think this is actually from what we've streamed at least, the first tiebreaker that we've seen so far. We haven't had a tiebreaker 1v1, I don't think. And we most certainly haven't had a team sort of tie up the 4v4. So can SOWAR bring it back? Or are White Rhinoceros going to once again show their dominance? First shots fired by SOWAR. No damage just yet. And Exif probably going into a hammerhead. Trying to stall out Kota. Using those flaps to try and get as much lift as possible as well. Getting nicely on the tail of Kota. Can he get the hits on though? Can he get the crit? Spraying a lot of rounds. There we go, finally find his target. instantly setting him on fire. Doesn't want to ram into him though. That'd have been rather embarrassing. Again, White Rhinoceros is showing their dominance. So now it's basically just a 2v1. There's not much poor SOWAR can do. Although, Manic Sith Master has run out of ammo. All that spraying he did a minute ago didn't do him very well there. But he does manage to shoot him down, so... So congratulations to White Rhinoceros, taking the tiebreaker 2v2, making it now 3-0 versus SOWAR, going into the 4v4. Now SOWAR need to win this to be able to even create a tiebreaker scenario in the 4v4. Which would then be a sort of veto system, so if SOWAR did win the 4v4, the two team captains would go into a room with an arbiter, and the teams would then decide which rounds they don't want to play, and the round left would be the round they play. So if SOWAR didn't want to play a 2v2, and White Rhinoceros didn't want to play a 1v1, they would then play a second 4v4. But in order for that to happen, SOWAR need to win the 4v4. So as you can see, all the teams ready to go. I have to say the 4v4 is probably the most exciting. Given the fact you've now got 8 planes in a room, the chances of people ramming into each other is a little bit higher. Obviously with these guys being very good, I mean they are in the Super Cup semi-finals, they shouldn't really be looking to ram each other on purpose. I mean by accident. Doing so on purpose is a legitimate tactic. I mean, we saw that in the second 2v2 versus, was it? I think it was Sith Master, wasn't it, who rammed into one of the SOWAR guys. As we wait for everybody to spawn in. So we've got Johnny K, Head Shooter, Phantomus, and Manic Sith Master for White Rhinoceros versus Lone Eagle, Zenti, Falcon, and Kota. Or Cot 3. So at the beginning of the round, they're not allowed to immediately engage each other. I would like to see a tiebreaker scenario. I would like to see SOWAR bring out the bag, be the underdogs, and come to defeat White Rhinoceros. Seeing as though White Rhinoceros have been just so dominant. Almost rammed into each other. I think he just critted his engine. So as long as the engine doesn't die immediately, they've still got a good chance of winning. He obviously also doesn't want to just spray. I mean, if he's going to die, he might as well spray the cannons there. His engine does die. And we did see Lone Wolf go down for SOWAR, being critically damaged by Manic Sith. And there we go, he just crashed. So now we've got Falcon and Lone Eagle 2v4 versus the remainder of White Rhinoceros' team. But it does look like Lone Eagle has lost his left wing. Or his left wing tip. So now we've just got Falcon and a dead engine Kota. Never mind. Poor Falcon. 4v1. What are you going to do? So White Rhinoceros going into the finals in a very, looking very strong. Going 6-0, 6-0, 6-0 versus all of their opponents. Just showing just how good these guys are. And like I said yesterday, I do not want to meet Rhinoceros going in realistic. These guys must win games left, right, and center. So again, guys, a very, very quick game. That was 2 very fast games. If you were here for the previous game, you saw Sky Veterans going 6-0 versus Doradler. And now you've seen White Rhinoceros going 6-0 versus SOWAR. So the next game will be very good. 2 very strong teams going at each other for the Super Cup finals. But before we go, I do need to show you a video from our sponsors before I forget. It is from Rocket.
Meet the Rocket Tie-On, featuring the brand new Rocket Accelerator analog thumb paddle, giving you unrivaled command capabilities. The new Rocket Fin Switch, letting you execute multiple maneuvers at the same time. 4 ergonomic top buttons, instinctively placed so that you can hunt for prey, not for buttons. Meet the new standard in gaming mouse control.
Yeah, although these games were short, guys, I do hope you enjoyed them. And I hope you come back at 8:40 for the simulator game that will be happening this evening. Again, I do hope you've enjoyed the stream. And the scores were 6-0 to White Rhinoceros. And they will be going into the final versus Sky Veterans. So I hope to see you there, guys.